I could have done this video a lot sooner, but the depression has been getting to me a lot lately because money's been tight and bills have been piling up. And I think the thing that really kind of makes me the most mad about this is that, like, I always kind of go back to my childhood and how my mom used to overhype adulthood and basically say, when you get grown, you can get your own stuff. And it's like I'm grown. I technically have my own stuff, and I also have this immeasurable feeling of dread because of the fact that money has been tight. Money has been really tight, and the reason why money has been really tight is because I don't really have that many hours at my job, and I, it's crippling. It's mentally it's a mental. I grew up being conditioned on the idea that if like if you have a job, you're at least owed some sort of like moderate peace. You're if you have a job, that means you earn money, and if you earn money from having a job, you can at least do very little to keep yourself at least afloat. You can at least afford a place to live, and you could be at least sort of at peace. And I have a job, I earn money, and everything is expensive. Everything is more expensive than it should be, and like I said, then politics. Like obviously, I started thinking about politics, and I'm reminded that the reason why everything is so expensive is because elderly rich races want to feel superior to somebody. And what better way to feel superior to somebody than to oppress the people that you don't think are even human? Like, bro, rich people and poor people in this country live on separate planets almost, man. Like these are people, like, there's people out there. Like, I bet you right now, if you ask a politician what they think the average American earns, they'll probably say some stupid stuff like $100,000 a month. What? Everybody earns that. It's like, no, no, you're stupid, And it's like these people somehow keep having power, man. And the reason why is because white supremacists are being given so much more power in comparison to everybody else. To me, American politics is ultimately white supremacy versus everybody else. I'm sorry to get hyper political, but whenever I undergo a financial crisis, that's immediately where my brain goes. My brain immediately goes to like like politics. And once I go into politics, I'm reminded that white supremacists completely control politics because literally everybody else is too busy fighting among themselves to fight against the real enemy, which are white supremacists. And now, man, it's election day, and I can't even I can't even vote because I tried to get my voter registration like earlier this week, and I live in an apartment that that still hasn't given me my mailbox key yet. So right now, I probably might have like 2 months of worth of mail in my mailbox that I can't get to because every single time I go over to the office, I'm like, hey, can you guys have my mailbox key yet? Oh, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. And I'm just like, I wanted to vote. I wanted to vote today. In any case, though, no big deal. Life is dread sometimes. Life can be very frustrating sometimes. But I'm gonna try to keep a happy face, even though my money situation is a little acting up. I can't get my mailbox key. Um, you know, But on a good foot, I managed to. I realized that ranting on TikTok actually kind of helps with a lot of. Kind of helps ease a little bit of frustration for me because because I didn't realize how easy it was to tick off racists and white supremacists on TikTok. Cause okay, here's what happened. And I love recapping stuff like this because this just happened. This is earlier today. So I made a video basically talking about how I don't think a lot of millionaires and billionaires would survive if they had to if they had to re-earn all their money from $0 and 0 cents. I don't think that they would actually do as good as people think that they would. So we should not deify rich people. Like there's way too many times where we've been proven that rich people are just incompetent. Like Donald Trump is currently in trial right now for lying about his value. Elon Musk has basically ruined Twitter in hopes to try to get back that $44 billion he spent to get Twitter in the first place. To put this in perspective, $44 billion is more than twice as much of what it would cost to end homelessness in this entire country. And then, Sam Bank Money Laundering Fried, whatever that dude's name is, the crypto guy. He's now apparently been found guilty of money laundering and wire fraud and all types of stuff. So now I'm like, these rich people, we're starting to see, like, I love the fact that we live in a society now, or we live in an era now where we could see this stuff happening in real time. And, like, because there's people out there who deify these people. There's people out there who see rich people, see all these billionaires and all these successful people, and they just, like, they basically say that these people should be, like, worshipped as gods, so to speak. It's like, well, they got to where they are through hard work and determination, and it's like, no, they didn't. Like, we're starting to see that now. We're starting to see, we're like, and I'm not gonna take anything away from the billionaires who did work hard to get to where they are, but my whole thing is that, like, you can't work a job and get $1 billion. You can't even work a job and get $1,000,000. You're lucky to work a job, right, and get $1,000. You know what I mean? And I say lucky because you still have to get hired for that job. So if somebody doesn't want you to work a job where you can get $1,000, a couple $1,000s in, you're not gonna get that job. So you're always gonna be lucky. You can't work a job and get the kind of money that they get. So in my opinion, if they have worked hard to get to where they are, they don't have to work hard to stay where they are. And that is a problem. Because when you get complacent, you get lazy. And when you get lazy, you get a little evil. And when you get evil, bad things happen to other people as well as yourself. Now these people are ridiculously miserable and all they can think about is making more money. And now look, we're starting to see the result of that in real time. That's one reason why you'll never see me, like, worshiping or, like, I can't really ever think that highly of rich people, because in order for me to think highly of rich people, like, they have to, you got to give me some money. That's all I'm saying. You got to give me a little bit of something for my hard work. So earlier, I also wanted to take this time to point out, like, earlier on my YouTube, there was a video that I made. And it was ultimately called I'm Tired of Being a Wage Slave. And I go in, and one of the earliest comments I ever got from that video was somebody recommending that I do crypto, like I invest in crypto. And I was never really a big crypto fan. I was never really a big fan of, like, because it always sounds like giving somebody my money and then waiting for them to give it back to me. And it's like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to wait for money. I need money today. Give me the money today. I would rather work for my money and get it, and know when I'm going to get it, than give somebody my money and, like, oh, by the way, you're going to get this money back in like 5 years. I need money today. It's like, would you tell a cancer patient that they're going to get the cure to cancer in 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, would you, like, there's things that should be done already that aren't being done. And you're basically telling people, wait for your blessing. No, give me my blessing now. It's not being entitled. It's not being impatient. It's going through years of BS and getting sick of going through the BS. Either provide or go away. You know what I mean? And that's one reason why I hate the scam industry. The scam industry is so good at, like, acting like that they're going to provide. And my whole thing is that, like, if you're not, like, my whole thing is I've done more than enough work already. This is how I don't get scammed anymore. I'm not going to say I don't get scammed anymore, because I still have the capabilities of getting scammed. But one of the things that I'll tend to do now is, if you're not going to provide me with the thing that you want without me having to do something, like, just give me the thing. Give me the thing. Don't make me work for it. Don't make me wait for it. Give me the thing right then. If you can't do that now, then I'm not signing anything. I'm not doing anything for you. You're going to provide for me, and if not, we have nothing to talk about. I don't even know you well enough for us to talk anyway. Back to my scenario back to my explanation on what happened on TikTok. Okay, so like I said, I'm on TikTok. I'm talking about how I think most billionaires and how most millionaires and billionaires would do if they didn't have to, if they had to start from $0 and 0 cents. Now, obviously, this would upset some people who are indeed fans of said millionaires and billionaires. So one dude actually was like, "This dude is definitely letting his tax bracket show." So so I made a little response video like, "Oh, you're clearly somebody who lives off of their parents' money. You're some other, or you're a poor person who thinks that subscribing to rich people ideals is going to make you rich by proxy, or you're just a racist troll." And he goes, "It's the third option." You know what I'm saying? Because he's basically admitting that he's a racist troll. So I basically made a response video to that. One thing about me is that like I'm gonna talk. Is like I'm gonna say something about this. So I responded, and I basically, if you hear noise, it's basically noise outside. The garbage man is doing the garbage, and it's very loud. But so I basically said, I responded to that thing, and I basically said, you know what, I really needed to hear this because it's very rare that like white supremacists go online and admit that they're being racist. So now I'm gonna ask, why are you racist everywhere? Why? What was? It's like if there was any group of people who should be isolated from society by their own choice, it would be white supremacists because y'all don't like anybody except for probably each other. So wouldn't it make sense for you guys to just sort of make your own society? And then I brought up Parler. I don't know if y'all remember, but Parler was basically Republican Twitter because when Donald Trump was like in the peak of his office, there was this whole thing dedicated to people were starting to get a little upset with Twitter because Twitter was starting to disprove a lot of conservative misinformation or something like that. And the conservatives were getting ticked off about it, like, oh well, I'm going to Parler, I'm going to Parler, I'm going to Parler, and they was in Parler. They were successfully in Parler, like doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. Nobody was going up in there bothering them. They had their own society where they can get together and just be right wingers all on their own. And then they went back to Twitter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you had your own community, you had your own society where you could do whatever you wanted to do, say whatever you wanted to say. Nobody was gonna tell you any different. Everybody was gonna agree with you. Nobody was gonna report you. You had access to this whole thing for yourselves, and then you said, "Nope, I want to go back on Twitter. I want to annoy people again. I want to spread misinformation. I want to be." It's like you went from having your own utopia to basically saying, "No, I prefer violence instead." And this, and it's like it's kind of weird because you had you had your own thing. You know what I mean? So basically, I asked, why do you guys want to be around everybody when you don't even like anybody? What's the point? And that set off this whole firestorm of like, this one white supremacist just completely ignored what I said and was like, I want to talk about how bad black people are instead, because apparently in his brain, when the words white supremacist mean white people to him, and white supremacy is a mental disorder. Because it's a mental disorder, which means anybody can get it. You know what I mean? So it was like so I'm talking to people, I'm responding to people and stuff like that, and I didn't know, like I didn't think I didn't think my responses were going to get as much of a reaction as they did, but I had some people reacting to what I was saying. I had some people talking to what I was saying. I was having some people responding to what I was saying. It was just like, it was really crazy, how upsetting white supremacists. It's like how upsetting white supremacists actually can kind of help my TikTok channel or whatever. I don't know what they're called. But another thing too is that like white supremacists was like always try to make it seem like that they're the pinnacle of toughness, and they're like they're these bad, they're these this bad to the bone tough guy society. You know what I'm saying? Nothing triggers us, nothing gets us angry. You're a snowflake. You know what I mean? It's like you're the snowflake because everything that happens always turns around and makes you cry and get you all angry. Yeah? And I'm just like, and all I did was ask, why are there white supremacists in every space ever when you guys don't even like everybody? Y'all don't even like most people, but why y'all in every space? And that's all that, and that upset these people. That got them angry. It's beautiful though. I love it. Hey, you can get angry at me, but I'm just I'm just asking questions, buddy. I'm sorry if I got hyper political. I'm sorry if I got, like I said, like I said, financial crisis tends to get this out of me, and if you stuck around, thanks. If you didn't, I understand. But yeah, guys, love, peace, happiness, and safety to every single person out there, and also 2024 is going to be a bizarre year politically. Fight the real enemy, people. Get these white supremacists out of power. I can't stress this enough. Get white supremacists out of power. We're starting to see who the bad guys are. We're starting to see what they're willing to do to people and what they're willing to do in general. Please, please band together and get these people out of office. You know who they are. You know what they do. You see this all the time. They want to take away rights from people who want to. They want to take away rights away from people who are just trying to get themselves like healthy. They're trying to, they're trying to oppress people of color and oppress LGBTQ community. They're trying to hurt people. There's an entire political party dedicated to hurting people. And you could get rid of them. You and everybody else can band together and get rid of these people. That's all I'm saying. Love, peace, and happiness, y'all. Be easy.